Good evening. My name is Joe Sam Robinson. It's my pleasure to have with us this evening Dr. Ponce. Dr. Ponce, thank you for being here. You're an infectious disease expert, is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
And so you've had a lot of training in regards to that.
Yes.
What is your present position right now? What role do you have?
So I am an associate professor at Mercer University,
right.
and as an infectious disease faculty.
Yes.
And I'm also the program director of the infectious disease fellowship at Mercer and Atrium Health
Yes,
Medicine.
and so you've had many years of experience in infectious disease,
Quite
is
a
that
bit.
right?
Yeah, that's
many, and let's see, I think you're initially from Peru, am I right on that?
Yes, I did go to med school in Peru, and then I came to the U.S. for residency and then fellowship.
And so you've been here for a long period of time.
18 years.
18 happy years. Well, great, great. And so you've observed the infectious disease situation. And I think you went through the COVID story,
Yes.
did you not?
Yes.
And you've probably been exposed to the problems with HIV, different kinds of difficulties like that.
Yes, I have seen a whole array of infections, yes, in Peru and in the U.S. as well.
Yeah, and so do you think it was a tremendous triumph as to how the world dealt with COVID virus? Do you think that's pretty? What would have happened if the vaccination had not come forward? The progress that had been made there.
What slows down these viruses is immunity.
Yes,
is the viruses depend? This type of virus depend on humans to go from one human to another.
Yes.
So if there is no immunity, I mean, just think about. This was a brand new virus that no human had ever seen before.
Yes.
So no immune system was ready to actually tackle it.
Right.
So it will take. So if humans are not immune to it,
yes,
it will just keep jumping from one human to another.
Yes.
To another.
Which it did. Right.
Which it did, right? So
right.
And that's why all hospitals were overwhelmed with how many infections we were seeing.
Right.
So to achieve that, so to slow down the virus spread, or from one human to another human, you have to have humans immunized.
Yes.
And that's either by being exposed to the virus in the past and survived,
right,
or getting vaccinated.
Yes.
So without the vaccine, we'll have had way more people dying from the virus,
yes,
and it will have taken longer to achieve this, enough people being immune for the virus to slow down in passing on from one human to another.
Well, there's a risk-benefit ratio, I think, right, in regards to any medical intervention.
Right.
So with vaccinations,
yes,
people can get sick from the vaccination,
yes,
and generally every effort is made for that not to happen.
Correct.
We can discuss that. I mean, are vaccinations going to be put out there that are tremendously harmful for humans? Every effort is made for that not to happen.
Right. And we look at history, right?
Yes.
Of the first vaccines to the current or more recent vaccines.
Right.
They have changed quite a bit. That's what we do. Humans, we try to make things better over time. So technology has played a big role in that. And if you think about the first vaccines that were done with just scrapings from a cow, virus causing cow skin disease.
Jenner, did I get that right? Somebody named Jenner.
Right. So the Jenner.
Yes.
Right. So so that was a live virus.
Right.
You're just putting that into another human, a live virus, able to multiply. So that is a little bit dangerous.
Yes.
But I think, and then we have evolved into either making the virus weaker, killing the virus, or inactivating it, or just using pieces of the virus, or more recently, we're using the genetic code for just a piece of the virus, not actually the actual piece of the virus, which is a more smart, more efficient way to get a vaccine.
That's relatively new.
Correct.
And when the vaccinations appeared for the COVID virus, it was a real technological breakthrough, wasn't it?
Of course, yes.
Well, can you explain what that was?
Yes. So again, so the way I think it's better to understand how vaccines work.
Right.
So without vaccines, what happens is the virus gets inside the body, and then the immune system sees the virus. Right. And then it starts to make antibodies. Antibodies are these small molecules for people who are not in the medical field.
Right.
These molecules that attach to a piece of the virus.
Yes.
And that is kind of like a flagging to the immune system, hey, there's something new here, we need to get rid of it. that buildup, so that process of making an antibody can take days or sometimes a week, a few weeks. And for most viral infections, by that time, when that happens, we're either dead or we survived the infection. So what vaccines do is they expose the immune system to the virus or a piece of it, but without being the actual virus. And in that way, we don't have the risk of getting infected with the virus, but we do get the immune system to see that part, make an antibody, and then be ready to fight or clear the virus if we get exposed to it. So for live vaccine, for example, there's still a whole virus that is available that can still multiply. That's why we don't give that to people with weak immune systems. And then the inactivated viruses, that's a much safer route, but it's still a whole virus, right? So the immune system will see the whole virus and will make a bunch of different antibodies. If we use just pieces of the virus, then the antibodies will be already targeting that piece of the virus and not the rest of the virus. The mRNA vaccines, what they were able to do is protein is a very large molecule. mRNA is a much smaller molecule that codes for that protein. So you can engineer just much faster. Delivery is much better. The volume that you use is much smaller. So it's a more efficacious way to show the immune system just a specific part of the virus that you want to show the immune system. And one thing about talking side effects is, I think, from vaccines is something that I think a lot of the hesitancy, or the concerns that come from vaccines is that people have the impression that when we inject the vaccine stays with us forever. And that does not happen. Again, we're injecting a virus or a piece of the virus or a tiny piece of the genetic code of the virus that gets cleared. So the body gets rid of that.
It's gone.
It's gone. So the proteins, the large protein, from vaccines, they will be cleared in some weeks. The mRNA vaccines actually get cleared in days. So they're gone from the system in just a few days. So that's a more efficient way. The side effects, if you look at, we look at side effects from vaccines, they actually come from the immune system response against the virus. And they mimic, very similar to what we see when people get the actual viral infections. So for example, for some of the COVID vaccines, we were seeing this pericarditis or the inflammation of the heart or the lining of the heart. We were seeing that also from the actual virus. It's because the immune system is making antibodies that target the virus but get confused with our own tissues and they attack that. So if we're able to target the specific parts of the virus that will neutralize the virus but not cause that, that's a much even safer way to make a vaccine.
So just to go through this right now, I think it's fair to say that a great triumph of science, medicine, and the United States and all the people that worked on vaccine research really saved millions of lives with the coronavirus. I mean, that's a great triumph. Other countries tried, they had a more primitive way. We had cutting edge events that took place because of an extraordinary relationship between science and industry. And it's a tremendous triumph. It saved millions of people, millions of them. And that's the science that exists now has the ability to save the world when things happen. And now, if I can now put to this point, some of the regulations or changes that are being propagated actually by Mr. Kennedy, I guess I would call him that, Mr. Kennedy, who is not a physician, has a relatively nil medical experience, other than working as a trial lawyer, attacking vaccine companies, I think, and we can discuss that. But the regulations that are being propagated or in the process of being propagated are against the country's interest. They're against the interest of people that live in Macon, Georgia, that live here. And the representatives should stand up to this, and the people should be informed before they in a situation of peril, decide they don't want the vaccination. Now, there's some, if I can, the way I might say it is, the whole vaccination process has been refined and gets better and better, and things are much, much better than they were in the past. And the benefit that occurs from there, I'll say, is $10 worth. And if there are side effects, maybe it's 2 cents worth.
Right.
So there's just a preponderant amount of benefit that happens with using vaccines, and the government is, and maybe you could speak to this point, are there regulations that might withhold this great medical advantage for the American people, or if that's being propagated? What are your thoughts about that?
Yes, definitely. We are not going in the right direction in terms of now the regulations, for vaccines.
Yes.
And it's not just the restricting who gets the vaccine. I think it's, because right now they're restricting who has the indication to get a vaccine. I think beyond that, it sends a message. Vaccines are not safe, and that's a very, very dangerous message to send, and it's having significant repercussions. And we were seeing that Florida is moving towards just removing all vaccine mandates for school children. So that's a very, very dangerous move, and it seems, timing-wise, seems to be kind of inspired by this move from the government agencies in trying to restrict, at least for now, some of the vaccines. But I think the intent seems to be, we don't trust vaccines. From the government, seems to be, we don't trust vaccines. We're trying to review each vaccine and see which ones we start to remove, or restrict, which is a very, very dangerous way to address things. Again, not just from who would now not be getting the vaccine,
right,
but the message that is sent to the public.
Well, now, is there, trying to find a scintilla of appropriateness on some of these policies, are there vaccines that are not, can there be vaccines in America that are, and this would be the issue, you have to take this vaccine, it's compulsory, it's maybe a small child, and it will kill, 20% of the people that take it, or something like that, and we're restricting the right of the parents to object to it. Do you have any thoughts about that?
Yeah, the only vaccine that we know can cause, very serious side effects in a population would be the yellow fever vaccine.
Yes.
And that, the high risk group will be, people of older age or immune compromise.
Well, anyone with an immune compromise has a danger.
From a live vaccine.
Right, that's correct. For yellow fever. Right. I don't know if many people routinely take yellow fever. Maybe the military. Do they do it in the military, I think.
But that is not part of the requirements for going to school in the United States. It's not part of any of the scheduled vaccines, either through childhood, adulthood, at all. It depends on your risk exposure. So that will be the only one that comes to mind. That will be something that, yes, this vaccine can actually cause serious.
But that's not a compulsory thing, and the physician would certainly counsel anybody that was wanted to take yellow fever.
Correct. Yes. And I don't think any physician actually can prescribe it.
I wonder if the military, they do that. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe the military, again, they may force military.
So if they're going to be deployed to an area with high yellow fever transmission, then yes.
Right. So maybe, but in general, there's nothing. All of this is a lot of smoke without fire.
Correct.
In regards to the whole. And I think there are other issues, maybe slightly different with newborns. I'm trying to think what they may take.
So for live vaccines, we don't give that to newborns, for example. Right. So there are indications of when to use vaccines that we think that are actually proven to be safe to be given in that context, in that particular patient.
Now, one of the things going on now is I routinely take vaccines for flu.
Correct.
And every year, can you discuss that? Every year, the flu mutates.
Correct.
In the southern hemisphere. They check on it. They come up with a new, and then they're offered. And this is the season to actually get that vaccination.
Yes.
And is that a good thing? How does that work out? Does that save a lot of lives, or any comment?
It's definitely a good thing. So in the United States, there's, every year there's about 50 to 70,000 people that get influenza.
Yes.
And actually 25 to 50,000 people that get influenza every year in the United States. And so that's a big number.
Yes.
And the influenza vaccine, I guess, as you said, the influenza virus, the flu virus, it mutates very rapidly.
Right.
And, so there's a panel that gets together, and then they decide which, strains to put in the vaccine to target the most common ones that will be, circulating. Right. And so that's why there's every year a new flu vaccine. And influenza is not just, so it can range from very mild illness, right? You have a little fever or so on. Or, a moderate illness, you have a fever, you have to stop working, you can go to work for a few days. Or a very severe, like I had a patient just, a few weeks ago who, gets you in the ICU, on the ventilator, and you can actually die from that.
Of course you can, yes.
The other effect that I think tends to be kind of not well known or overlooked is the effect of having influenza. So influenza can cause a very significant response from the immune system.
Yes.
That response can actually lead in some people to have, heart attacks and strokes.
Right.
And when we see that, every flu season, we see an increase in strokes and heart attacks.
Right.
And that, of course, can lead to significant hospitalization rates, emergency room visits, disability as well.
Right.
So those can also be, prevented or ameliorated by getting your, the influenza vaccine every year.
Now, is there to me, it's pretty self-evident that this is an appropriate thing for the American people to have access to. Are there compulsory issues where people are? What are the advantages? I guess you'd say this is we're going to with the COVID situation. It was pretty much you need to take this, or if you don't take it, your situation is going to be restricted. You can't go in the hospital and on and on. Yeah. What are your comments about that? And how much pressure is there on the American population to take vaccines right now?
Pressure on people.
Well, I mean, are they required, or they can't go in the hospital, or you can't?
For healthcare workers, for influenza, is not required. For COVID, not anymore. I think for most places, right? I don't think there's a federal.
Well, why would that? What COVID has changed, has it not?
It has, but not at the rate as influenza has.
Right.
Yes.
Influenza changes every.
Yes, it's very rapidly. Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's because the influenza is it has a high death rate, I guess you'd say that. So the cells that survive whatever is up, they mutate into something else. It doesn't kill the influenza doesn't kill everybody. And for that reason, it can find a place to go.
Well, it's just it's the virus itself, the structure of it. It allows it to have mutations a little bit more faster than for COVID. The virus itself, regardless of the host. Yes. So the mortality. So during COVID, the severe illness or mortality, percent-wise, wasn't humongous.
Right.
But the problem was that so many people were getting infected that small percent, the percent that several thousands of people, every day. So that's why we were getting so many people hospitalized. But there are other viruses that you're mentioning that are more lethal, and those viruses tend not to mutate as much because they don't tend to multiply as many times. Right. But in the case of influenza, the mutation rate is quite high.
Right. What about childhood vaccinations? Any thoughts about that?
So one, yes, we have been keeping, I think we tend to forget how things were before the vaccine era, and even just not during the vaccine era, just a few decades ago, how things were. And, I remember when I was in medical school in Peru, that we did not have many of the vaccines, especially the Haemophilus influenza for kids.
Yes.
And we were seeing quite every so often cases of meningitis, in young children. We don't see that in the U.S.
Yes.
And that's because of vaccines. but we tend to forget those benefits, so that's one. The same for the strep pneumo vaccines for kids. It's not just for kids, it's also helps prevent transmission to their parents, their grandparents,
right.
So we're all connected, we all live in society, and the fact that I would say that getting a vaccine is not just for one single person. It's actually at the benefit of family members, not just in the household, but even people that we come in contact with when we go to a store or anything like that. So it's something that we do, more than just for us, but for the community, for our families.
I remember polio vaccines were pretty compulsory. Your thoughts about that? I mean, is that some good came out of that?
Definitely, yes, right. So, and even in people that survived, again, they had significant disability, and these were young people, right, who will either didn't live long enough, or they will actually have to stop, finishing school, or just not being able to do sports or things that they wanted to do in the future. So it's a significant, impact that it has in the community.
Yes. Well, how about measles vaccine? I mean, measles is a pretty bad thing, and it's under control with vaccinations. Comments on that?
Yeah, well, as you know, everybody has heard about measles in the past few months, about these outbreaks that have been happening around the country, and it has been almost exclusively in people who were not vaccinated or fully vaccinated, and it's a very serious infection. 2 children died from that during this year. So that's a very, very sad. Just one child dying from a very preventable disease is something horrible, and thankfully didn't increase more than that. But it was something that could have been prevented, and I think we have to be a little bit careful with the messaging that we send about that, because we say, well, it's a highly contagious virus. It is highly contagious in non-immunized people. So the fact that it didn't get worse was because there are still a good percent of the people that have been vaccinated.
And is there, in taking measles vaccine, is that a requirement for people to do it?
It's part of the schedule for childhood vaccinations. Yes.
And is there some movement?
There has been for a while, right?
Right, to try and stop that. Correct. I mean, comments about that? I mean, is Mr. Kennedy attempting to do something about that? Stop it? Make it limit it?
Yeah, well, I don't know if he's actually targeting this particular vaccine now. I think he has made comments about it in the past, that he's not in favor of it. It's my recollection. But there are several groups that are against this vaccine, and that's why there have been some people who have not been vaccinated their children with the measles vaccine. So there is some push for that, but I don't know if they are targeting that vaccine right now. I mean, from the government, side.
Well, is the government? I know, for me, when there's this tremendous events are taking place at the CDC, which is an institution I respect, and NIH, which are really the cutting edge of American medical science. It disturbs me when the figures of reputation and consequence resign. I'm assuming they wouldn't make such a gesture unless they thought that the government policy was substantially amiss.
Yes, and from their statements, it's a highly, I don't know them, but I know people who have worked for CDC and other public agencies, and they do it really for the good of the people.
Sure.
I mean, they're not
not making a lot of money.
They're not making a lot of money, but they do it because they want to serve the public,
and rightfully so.
Yes.
And is the government policy impending or having an impact on our ability to respond to the next global viral epidemic? I mean, presumably there are others that are going to come our way.
Yes.
And we've had one 100 years ago, and then we had the most recent one, and episodically with so much air travel going from place to place, people moving around, 8 billion people moving around, it would be logical to think that we're going to be subjected to other outbreaks of bad things. And the way to defend the population against this would be to have a program to come up with a vaccine that would prevent the outbreak.
So one of the things that they did, the government did recently, they cut funding for mRNA vaccine research, and I think that was a mistake, that again, I think mRNA vaccines have very significant advantages regarding vaccine development and deployment. So I think that was not a good move to do. The other thing is that they have, cut significant, funding and people that work in surveillance.
Yes.
And, that's the only way to find out if there is something happening, if there's an increase in something going on, we won't know unless we are measuring and tracking things. So that's also very concerning. And I know of several people that, that are no longer at CDC, or and they were doing very important roles in the background, and I think we don't tend to realize how much is done behind the scenes because we don't see problems. Right. But once they start popping up, then we probably will notice there's something missing.
Well, it's a pretty good story about what's going on in infectious disease. How about locally? What are the problems you see locally with infectious disease in Macon, in this area?
I think what probably most places, especially rural urban areas, have is access to healthcare.
Really.
Yes, I think that infectious diseases tend to be a reflection of what's happening in society in other areas.
Yes,
and we do see again a significant people coming with infections, but it's what's in the background. They have had diabetes that they just got diagnosed in the emergency room when they came in with this infection. They have high blood pressure. The kidneys are failing now. Now they require an amputation because the limbs are not getting enough blood flow, and now they have an infection of that. HIV is another big.
How is that working out in this area? And they've got some treatment for it.
Yes, so treatments are highly effective. I mean, it's something that this is vaccines, and I think HIV treatment is one of the big very, very, very big achievements that we have had over the years. Regarding how we have changed the outcome of an infection. Before it used to be, you get HIV, you're pretty much trying to think how,
you're going to die.
You're going to die, And now it's not quite that at all, The outcome now, someone with HIV, if they take the medication, they can live as if they don't have HIV. So that's a very drastic improvement in treatment, in outcomes. The medications now is just one single pill a day that you take, and we don't really see side effects from that.
Well.
And even we have now injections that you take, every 2 months or so.
Really?
You don't think about it at all after that. So the medical side of things, the achievements that we have had with HIV are tremendous. And people that are on treatment and control, they cannot pass the infection to someone else.
Oh, really? So that's great. And
that's excellent. They can have kids and all that. So
everything is good. So that's quite a triumph.
So the difficulty that we have is actually on getting people diagnosed with infection, with HIV, and then retaining, so keeping them on treatment.
Right. They might not continue to take it.
Right. And there are costs associated with that. And then there's also the stigma. The stigma is a very, very, strong and,
and people don't like
detrimental. Yes, it's
of course.
Yeah, and the stigma comes not from people with HIV; it comes from people that don't have HIV.
Right.
So that's the work that we have to do. More on.
Well, I want to thank you for all the good work you do, and I encourage you to stay with it. It's I hope the government won't do anything that's untoward, and if they do, let us know about it.
I will.
We'll at least discuss it.
Yes,
so,
definitely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you for the invitation.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Thanks. Right.